Godzilla vs. Kong saw the absolute best of some MonsterVerse classics, along with some new creatures. The movie, ever since its release, still gives me chills that I was expecting. Yeah, so the human characters were just basic. And man, the whole villain sequel just blows. Monster-wise, I think Godzilla vs. Kong delivered quite more than any other MonsterVerse movie. King of the Monsters had plenty of monsters too, but the problem is that, in King of the Monsters, they introduced us to some of the killer kaijus like Behemoth and Methuselah and Scylla, but that was just it. They didn't really do much more than ramp walking the streets. So today, we're going to rank all 10 monsters seen in GVK and rank them accordingly. At number 9, we have two monsters, rock critters and leafwings. As far as the Hollow Earth arachnids are concerned, they're referred to as crab creatures in the film's novelization, and we're given nicknames like rock critters. Well, we don't really get to see much of them. As Kong was traversing the Hollow Earth, he nearly trampled a group of arachnids as they were camouflaging against the ground. Disturbed, the creatures got up and moved away, but one is snatched up and eaten by a Hollow Earth lizard. With 12 seconds in screen time, yes, they're ranked number 9. Also at number 9 are the Leafwings, seen to be gliding over the skies of the Hollow Earth. In Skull Island, we saw several Leafwings carried away Victor Neves and killed him by tearing him apart. And how can we forget this scene, where James Conrad managed to kill some with Hank Marlowe's katana in slow-mo. Others just flying in the sky, but sadly they don't do much in GVK. Number 8. Hollow Earth Lizard. Some speculations around the internet suggest that this chonky lizard could be a member of the Godzilla species. I mean, those spines on its back look like mini versions of Godzilla's dorsal spines. Some say that it could be part of Godzilla's evolution, just like in Shin Godzilla. I've also seen in other threads and fandoms stating that this could be a baby Anguirus before it had spikes. Well, if MonsterVerse could really bring on Anguirus to the picture in future films, that bad boy will shake the Hollow Earth as a whole. Some even call this Godzilla Jr. Well, fans call him Doug, with even Adam Wingard referring to the creature as Titanus Doug. And personally, how I wish to see a Manila version of the MonsterVerse. With a screen time of just 3 seconds, the only reason he's ranked at number 8 is because we saw him attacking the rock spitters and simply munching them. That was badass. Number 7. Hellhawk. No, they're not actually hawks from hell, nor do they resemble your usually hawks in any manner. But in all honesty, this is just another example of a great sense of naming that the folks at Legendary have. These Hellhawks can deliver gruesome attacks. We witnessed it firsthand in the movie when these giant bat-like predators brutally killed those soldiers from Apex, one after another. And in the process, these vulture-headed flying beasts of terror clocked in a healthy screen time of about 1.5 minutes. Now, that's pretty cool for a minor monster. Number 6. Skullcrawler. Look, the Skullcrawler is still a badass-looking monster. One who makes life miserable for both man and beast, simply because they're just that fierce. You could even consider them an almost bulletproof species that hunted down even Kong's kind to close to extinction. Having said that, number 10, the new variant of the Skullcrawler in the film, was a refreshing sight, almost eye candy of sorts. Sporting red colorations down its back, a green tint on its skull, and a larger frame than its Skull Island counterparts, it's one hell of a monster who clocked in a decent screen time of about 56 seconds until we saw it suffer a pretty graphic end at the hands of you-know-who. In the end, Apex was basically just holding the Skullcrawler hostage and using it as bait for MechaGodzilla's practice run. In the end, this awesome-looking beast was just a guinea pig kept under the knife. Or laser, I guess, as we all saw. That aside, we were made aware of the fact that Apex even bred Skullcrawlers and all, even saw them storing a number of Skullcrawler eggs in their facilities. But perhaps MechaGodzilla's rampage destroyed them all. Number 5. Warbats. Feast your eyes upon Hollow Earth's apex predators, the Warbats. These monsters literally stand above the rest of the Titans, including Godzilla, MechaGodzilla, and even King-Ghidorah. They're just that massive. Or you could say rather long. You see, the Warbats have learned to use their slender bodies to choke out their opponents, and we actually saw that in their fight with Kong. The Titan superspecies looks like a monster at the very peak of its evolution, and I'm saying this because you don't always see a giant 1,000-foot flying serpent, even in monster movies. So it was a real treat watching these majestic titans in action, even though it lasted for just about 1 minute and 33 seconds until Mia Simmons got grossed out. Now, don't ask me why. Number 4. King-Ghidorah, Kevin. Okay, so just hold on for a bit. I know you probably didn't see it coming, and before you start correcting us, let us explain why Ghidorah made the list and how does he rank up so high? Well, in all honesty, the reason's quite simple. King Ghidorah is actually the main antagonist of Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, you heard that right. Not Walter Simmons, nor Serizawa Jr., and not even MechaGodzilla. But really, the main villain in the epic Clash of the Titans is actually King Ghidorah, or rather, Kevin's remaining skull, to be precise. To make it simple for you, MechaGodzilla was being controlled by Ren Serizawa, using the remaining Ghidorah skull as a neural interface to pilot the artificial Titan. But when Apex finally obtained the energy data from the Hollow Earth needed to fully power MechaGodzilla, Ghidorah's consciousness took over, killing poor Ren in the process, and Walter soon after that. From that point on, it was full-on rampage and destruction, and that's when we basically found our main antagonist. Seems like the bad blood from King of the Monsters followed its way all the way to Godzilla vs. Kong. Yet the monster who didn't stop trying to settle the score with Papa Goji even before death still only takes 4th spot in our list because we didn't actually see Ghidorah back in direct action. Number 3. Kong. This one's another ranking that may not really be taken so warmly by some of the fans again, but look, it is what it is. Now, there's clearly no doubt that Kong was the main focus of attention, and the whole Godzilla vs. Kong film was centered around the big monkey. So, considering that you'd expect the Island Alpha to hold his own in tough situations, but that really wasn't the case. In fact, we could see time and time again he was in need of assistance, even human assistance quite a few times, which isn't really what you'd expect from a big bad monster, especially if it's an alpha. Also, it was pretty pitiful, showing in 3 separate occasions over the whole course of the film. I mean, he almost died in all 3 occasions. First, he almost got drowned by the Big G. Second, Kong almost got killed by one of the Warbats when it incapacitated the big monkey by wrapping itself around him. And then third, when Papa Goji ruthlessly stomped Kong, that left him right at the gates of heaven until the heave shocked the Alpha back to life. So those were the 3 instances that showed the clear-cut vulnerabilities of the giant ape, and in all of these instances, one other thing has remained in common. He had the need of some form of human assistance to escape his misery, which is why Kong finds himself landing just the 3rd spot here. Number 2. Godzilla. Godzilla, the undisputed king of the monsters, hardly needs an introduction, and boy, he really did deliver. The improvements in his latest outing have been pretty significant, and the sheer dominance of Papa Goji over the big monkey says pretty much all. Godzilla has honed and polished his abilities almost to the max in the last couple of years, especially more so when it comes to the atomic breath. The improvement is far more noticeable. The sheer amount of destructive force and intensity that it carries is honestly just insane. It was a pretty crazy sight to see the King of the Monsters dig a hole straight into the Hollow Earth with nothing but atomic breath. That is exactly the kind of stuff that we were all expecting from the Monsterverse, and they finally stood their ground. Yet, Godzilla, interestingly, finds itself at the 2nd spot. So which other monster takes the spot from the top dog this time around? Well, obviously, it's none other than MechaGodzilla. The Monsterverse finally brought the rabbit out of the hat in the form of the menacing mechanical demon of chaos and extermination, MechaGodzilla. Just one look at the monster and you can tell the sheer amount of havoc that it's capable of unleashing. The Mecha God of Destruction is simply insane on so many levels. Starting right from its massive size, which is easier larger than both Godzilla and Kong, easily standing somewhere in the 450 to 460 feet range. More importantly, MechaGodzilla is stronger, faster, and more durable than both Godzilla and Kong. You can probably still remember how the Big G suffered at the hands of the mecha, who basically made a cakewalk of him, and later even Kong could barely keep his own facing the seemingly overpowered enemy. It got even crazier when the combined efforts of both alphas still couldn't overpower MechaGodzilla, who almost killed both of them. As for the other amazing bits, we should all take a moment to also appreciate the amazing design of the monster. It's a marvel, unlike any other and easily the most powerful Titan that has ever appeared in the Monsterverse. It's your boy, MechaGodzilla. And that sums up our list too. Hope it was a fun watch. Now, do you agree with our ranking? Which Titan will make your number one? Do let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. This is Factaholic, and it's been a pleasure having you all. See you in our next video. Peace.